So, little secret is I'm very extroverted at work, and I think we all are when we're very passionate about what we talk about. But personal Voula is very quiet and introverted. So, these sessions are always so much fun for me. So, thanks for entertaining me. So, I'm Voula Vasilopoulos. I'm Director of Talent Acquisition for Interac, and I've been humbly asked to share with you today on building a best-in-class TA team and the role that recruitment plays in diversifying the workforce to ensure that diverse talent is in place while we're growing a business. So for those of you that may or may not be in the HR space, recruitment and retention go hand in hand. So not only do we want to hire the best talent, we also want to make sure that we retain the best talent. That also comes with responsibility from us as the employer or the organization. So a little bit about me. I've been in recruitment for almost 20 years. I just dated myself, and I've worked for some very well-known brands, held various job titles, worked with countless folks, and have interviewed thousands of people on a yearly basis. I've been a part of great teams, not so great teams. I've had great managers, incredible leaders, and I'm sure we can all relate that we've had the occasional horrible boss now and then. I've worked in multiple markets where there's many jobs and not enough individuals to fulfill those jobs, and on the opposite side, when the bubble bursts and when the bubble is there. And I've also have lost my job, have been impacted due to restructuring 3 times in my career. And that sounds like a very scary place, but the best learnings of my life have been during all of those times. Add up the sums of all of those parts, and voila, well, that sounds kind of funny, right? No, we're in current space today. So all of those experiences are really what has led me, together with Interac, into current state. So I've been with Interac going on 3 years. I'm in my 4th fiscal year. And what really stands out about us at Interac, and I can stand here authentically and say, is that our people is really what makes Interac stand out. From all those incredible brands that a lot of us may idolize, Interac is the one that really brings out individuals' authenticity. And when we can be our true authentic selves at work, that's where all the magic happens. But in order to find those people, there's also a lot of magic that we have to do synchronously in this magical world of recruitment and HR to make all of these things happen at the same time. And while we do that, and while I mentioned that it's the people behind Interac that make the magic happen with our products and services, as we all use on a daily basis, it's how we prioritize our people. And diversity, equity, and inclusion are also a really big part of that. So as I mentioned, we believe that people are number one capital, and we believe that the future of work really relies on building a strong talent pipeline and a community and an employee community that's diverse and representative of Canada, and a strategy that supports the company's bottom line. So we actually need diversity in our hiring practices and inclusivity to support our internal employees and to be able to accomplish the end goal. So we believe in employees being able to bring their full authentic selves to work, because the uniqueness and the different lived experiences and add and contribute to the representation of the job. And both aspects help both the employee and the company grow. By including diversity as a pillar in our employer brand, recruitment marketing, and employer value proposition, and our culture, we showcase that diversity at Interac and what it means to be a part of this organization, and really working through those various lived experiences. So throughout the year, we embrace and leverage multiple opportunities, and we partner with different business units to strengthen our hiring practices, such as Access Mentorship. So we're a big sponsor with Access Mentorship. We host a big event where we hire newcomers to Canada from that really we work with during those moments. We find opportunities around immigration, and we really embrace and support refugees against our full-time opportunities, also inclusive of our internship opportunities. How we embed, and we're working on some really great initiatives moving forward, but I can't share all of those names yet, but hopefully next year we can share some of these opportunities. So how do we embed all of this into our talent strategy? And be really mindful when we talk about talent strategy. So for some people, that also means recruitment. In my world, it's recruitment and people. And people also are the culture, and they contribute to the core values of the organization. So I might reference a lot about recruitment and talent acquisition, but really that's the very beginning of the employee journey and gives a lens into what it's like to work for us, right? And then I'm going to talk a little bit later today about how we use the reverse to be our go-to-market strategy. So, building a best-in-class TA team to really kick off the larger employee journey, it's not as easy as some of you or even me back in the day may have thought it would be. So talent acquisition, recruitment, it's really a matrix. And it's a puzzle, it's a tangled pomegranate, and to someone who may not be familiar, it just sounds like one big hot mess, okay? I'm very grateful that my leader really gets this craziness and supports me in my endeavors. But it's really the alignment of so many different pieces that come together synchronously. So if any of you have ever been a hiring manager, or if you're a hiring manager for Interac, we make it look really easy for you, okay? Any people leader, they're like, here's your top 3 candidates. Voila, there we go. Let's make it happen. Let's get to the offer stage. What they don't know and what they don't experience is what it takes to get there. So that means it starts off with, you hire, first of all, I have to have the right people on my team. The right people on my team are really a representation of who Interac is. And when you show your true authentic self and show what the organization is like, there's an alignment and then there's a spark, right? So I have to have the correct representation. As much as I love fashion, I love data insights and analytics. Can't get anywhere in current state if you are not in love with your numbers and the stories that they tell you. Sometimes there's stories that work in your advantage, and sometimes it's really turning that lemon, that missed opportunity, into something great for the organization. You need to have a model. What does great look like? You need to have a mission. You know what? I want to be the best employer in Canada. To do that, I need to have the best TA team to do that. Was able to do that. But I also need to boil an ocean and hold multiple people accountable at the same time. You also need to consider recruitment marketing. Recruitment marketing, collaborating, partnering with your Marcoms team. If you're an organization like us, we have internal comms, external comms, digital marketing, brand team, PR team. So we really work as an extension of each other to support each other's cause. We really need to work really well with those around us, such as our internal partners and stakeholders, the DE&I team, the hiring managers, the candidates, most importantly, our large HR teams, and most importantly, our senior leadership team. So recruitment, talent acquisition that lead to retention, it's really making all of this happen at the same time. So when I joined this incredible organization, I thought for the first time in my life, I was going to glide in somewhere and not have to do anything. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up and they're going to have all their ducks in a row. So that wasn't the case. And I learned that wasn't the case because the first thing I did to become intimate with what I was stepping into was looking at the data. Well, there was no data. I know, I find it funny, right? But there was no data. So I had to find really, really dirty data so I can figure out what I need to do. And keep in mind, there was me and one fixed term contract recruiter on site at that time. We're now about 12 people into this team. So there's method to the madness that I share. So year one, where did I don't even know where I started with the data, as I said, and I got to know all of the people I worked with. So those people relationships, sometimes we don't want to blow anybody off at the water cooler or when they ping us, because we never know when these people are going to end up becoming your partners or an extension of your business. I needed to understand the demographics of our organization. I needed to understand the gaps and all elements, full-time internships. What are we doing? What are we not doing? What do we need to do? What do we need to get there? What's it going to cost? All of these pieces. And so I also had to, when, as many of you, if you're employers, sometimes it takes a really long time to fill a role, right? Really long time. So part of that dirty data told me that these roles were taking a really long time to fill. And so when no one prioritized it, when someone does not prioritize that role, whether it's a member of the recruitment team, HR team, or the business, we're also jeopardizing the health of our current culture. The longer that seat is vacant, so I don't know your name, but you're sitting at the end. If all these seats are empty, that means you're doing all the work. Or, right? That means you're doing all this extra hours. Guess who's next in line to quit? You are. So the faster I fill all of these roles, the happier you're going to be, the more engaged you are. So that's what we've embedded and have made a general practice at Interac. So anyways, I started with one person. Every 2 months, I was like, wow, okay, this is happening. The data told me that I needed to build a very robust recruitment model. So it was about 9 months in building this team, hired about 5 people in at that time. And they said, Voula, next year, we're going through our highest headcount growth year yet. So we've got replacement roles. We've got new BAU, like new roles, right? And then we're going to hire 200 plus people. And the most competitive hiring market ever. So we're 80% tech. That's not easy, right? So for every developer that I hire, they've got 6 to 7 job offers elsewhere. So what did I do? I built a predictive analytics model off the seat of my desk in the driver's seat in my car, because my kids play soccer, so I'm a soccer mom. And I used a scratch pad, and I predicted that if I have one person, and this is how many jobs are going to fill this year, and I had to monitor the pace of hiring because I had to guarantee my executives that I'm going to slam dunk this. Needless to say, no one thought it was going to slam dunk it within the one fiscal year, and we completed it within 6 months. And by doing so, how did we get there? We built a very robust recruitment model. That meant I operationalized every single minute of someone's time without having to work overtime. So that sounds pretty sweet, right? You're making your bonus, you're getting your job done, you're getting rewards, you're getting recognition, and you're not working a minute overtime, and you're taking your lunch break, right? So that was the magic of the numbers, the predictive analytics model that helped me predict how many jobs we're going to fill each month to build the confidence. So anyways, I was Saturday morning after a large corporate event the night before in my car with a scratch pad because I didn't know how to hotspot my laptop from my work phone on that day. So I had to do this the old-fashioned way. And then on Monday morning, it was like, Voula, are you sure about this? I was like, I think so. I think this is going to work. And it really did. But we had to build a notion of commitment. And it wasn't just my responsibility, right? So as much as I committed to it, it wasn't my responsibility to deliver that result, right? So as much as I was responsible for delivering that strategy, that end result wasn't going to die with Voula. I wasn't going to live on with Voula. It was about how every single member of that enterprise was held accountable. So we built an employer value proposition that we hadn't done before, at least not in current modern state. To meet these metrics, we built a very elaborate recruitment marketing strategy. not that expensive if you know how to do it and you have the best-in-class marketing team. We really relied on organic posts. Of course, we made some investments through some other vendors, like our LinkedIn employer page, our career site. We made a lot of investments on rewards and recognition for the various team members, but we made a commitment to achieve these results. So we really, when I say boiled an ocean, tangled pomegranate, matrix, it was, I'm going to deliver, but I'm going to need each person's help. So that meant that our culture, our employee value proposition became our go-to market employer brand strategy. So I can't make anybody apply to my job. I can't twist someone's arm to accept a job offer. But what I knew was I had competitive advantage because we hire and we have the best people because we believe in our people. And we really relied on our people to advocate and socialize what it feels like to work for Interac. So if I go back to one of those first important words I mentioned, being authentic and authenticity, I can't lie if I tried because our people feel really good about working there, and like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. So that became our strategy. So we trained everyone on what it's like and how to showcase it when they're speaking to their candidates. We cleared the pathway to make sure everyone prioritized their hiring, and we made it happen. And so I can go on forever and ever, but I'm not going to do that because I know there's a networking session going on at 4:30 today. But needless to say, we were able to achieve results within 6 months. And by doing so, I'm going to pick on this individual on the right, the corner that I picked on earlier. She now has a whole row of people working next to her. And this team, together with the organization, has really been able to deliver the best results that our vendors have shared with us, because I don't know what everyone else's stats look like, but those seats don't remain empty for long. The story behind there is when I did all that dirty data, that seat was open for, each one of those seats was open for 70 days, 70 working days, not calendar days, 70 working days. So that's 3.5 months to get to the offer stage. And then it took 90 days before we clear background checks and that person give their resignation, 20, 40, 60, 80. So that's 5.5 months, right? That's a long time for each one of those. That's a long time for you to sit there and do all that work, right? Well, today, so for 2 years, we brought it down to 30 network days. So that's something that this team deserves a lot of credit for, and the organization for really hearing all the feedback and the advice on how to make it happen. And current state, when I did the numbers today for the sake of this presentation, we're at 21 days. So I challenge anyone in the Canadian landscape to beat those days and those stats. And our retention has never been stronger historically. So our organization is also beating the optics that you see what the average retention rates are across organizations. And so I stand here proudly and humbly to share with you that recruitment, retention, diversity, authenticity, allowing people to be their true authentic selves at work really, really makes a difference. And you're going to be in that seat a little bit longer, you know? Anyways, thank you so much for listening to me and joining me today. I welcome, entertain any questions you may have. And even at the networking session, I'm happy to connect with you. Thank you for your time.